Hey guys, welcome back to another Sunday night show. I am still going to be trading S&P mini futures, oil futures. First, I want to get to the key technical levels in the S&P because I think we're at another critical one. Last week, I mentioned that 4170 to 4200 was a very critical support level. If that breaks, the next level I look for is 4100. If that breaks, we could go as low as 3800. That's how critical the 4170 to 4200 was. We did get a strong ass bounce, like a strong muscular fit gluteus maximus bounce from 4170 all the way to where we're at right now, 4463. We're really close to what is referred to as a 50% retracement from our 13-week high. 13-week high being 4818. That's also the 52-week high. We're right at that 50% retracement where, the stocks, had support from 4170 and bounced to 4467 is the number. That is the 50% retracement from the highs. And we still have some more room that we could run. Now, although I think the tape action is super bullish or was super bullish last week, I will say a lot of the times you see runs like this in what is potentially a bear market. I'm not saying we're in a bear market right now. No one knows these things. But I think the tape is going to be driven by the news. The news is not fully priced in yet. What's happening with the Russian war in Ukraine, as well as the bigger picture is the tape got really strong after the Federal Reserve admitted that they were behind on inflation, meaning inflation might continue to affect the markets. And with the Fed uncertain if their actual tapering plan will be, there seems to be a little bit of worry whether the tapering plan will be effective in bringing down inflation, not so much by the Fed, but from other analysts. The market is essentially bouncing based on the fact that with prices of like food and gasoline and all these rising, the corresponding companies that are going to be selling these items should have a larger, essentially revenue stream coming in. So that's why you're seeing a little bit of a bounce right now. Federal Reserve admitting that they may have made a mistake on inflation. They didn't directly say it like that, but I feel like that's the case. Hence why you see the market bounce. Yeah, it's so funny because every time I do one of these Sunday videos, we're now at another critical inflection point, 4467. We're gonna see if it bounces from there. But also keep in mind, despite the tape action being very positive after hitting support and bouncing from support, we're now at another point where we could already see another bleed out, a potential bleed out from here, or a bounce. So inflection point right now in the S&P, if you place a trade incorrectly, if you think it's gonna go up and it starts bleeding out, close your position right away because the tape movements are going to be, the movements on the S&P itself is probably gonna be one of the best trades for the upcoming week. Oil futures, they dropped quite a bit once again. We saw a bounce, however, from about like 95 back to 105. This is probably your second best trade. If you don't trade oil futures, trade USO, trade the individual oil names because that's what I think is the other trade. If you don't, USO, XOM, obviously ExxonMobil, CVX, Chevron, DVN, and PXD are the last four tickers I want you to watch. Those have had a bleed out recently because oil actually went from like 120 down to like 92. But now oil's back at 105. Let's see if this runs with the oil trade. Okay, so those are the two trades. The last two tickers I want to talk about not related to this week's earnings is Lockheed Martin, LMT, and Raytheon, RTX. Those are the two other trades. They've had a bit of a bleed out because there was a little bit of a let up in momentum. One of the key things I want to mention to you guys is when the momentum trade is off, your best bet, because these have had a bleed out off of their peak momentum, is to take the trade off and reassess if the momentum picks back up, you can buy back in. And the reason I say this is it's a reminder. Like, I had a big losing trade last year on Tilray. I think I'm down, I was down at one point a good amount. And one of the mistakes I made was the momentum was completely off of Tilray. Forget about investing or whatever. At some point, you just got to watch the tape. Tape action's negative. You got to take the trade off, okay? So be wary of all the momentum names, whether it's Lockheed Martin, RTX, ExxonMobil, USO, and honestly, even S&P, okay? Let's go right into earnings. I want to keep it pretty short this week because there isn't much to talk about earnings-wise. We got Nike on Monday. We have PDD, a Chinese name, on Monday as well. So PDD, sometimes the Chinese names, although they're on the earnings calendar, sometimes they don't go exactly as planned. Like I have Chinese name PDD this week on Monday, and sometimes it's like the week after is actually the earnings. So some of these Chinese companies, man, I don't know about their earnings calendar days. On Tuesday, we have Adobe, definitely watching that. Carnival Cruise usually makes an interesting trade on earnings, so I'm watching that as well. Lastly, NVIDIA has an earnings day on Tuesday. NVIDIA, as I recall, had a bleed out from 324. Let me check where it was at. It's at right now, 267. So, oh my God, NVIDIA, strong ass momentum bounce from 220 from, we'll see how this Tuesday's investor day kind of plays out. It actually has a very bullish looking chart. Just keep in mind there is some resistance right at this price range around 267. So that's the other thing I'm paying attention to. NVIDIA could actually have a huge breakout from its current resistance. If it does, it can just run to 300 from here. So that's another one I'm watching right now. On Wednesday, we have GNOG, which is Golden Nugget. Sometimes this can be a really good trade on Wednesday, but a lot of times it can be subdued. GNOG has had a huge breakdown from about $22 a share down to about $7 a share. Most of online gaming is down, DraftKings is down. So that whole space, Penn stock is down, has been getting kind of beat up. So I'm watching GNOG on Wednesday. On Thursday, we are watching NEO. NEO has had a huge breakdown. I bought some more shares around 14. We're gonna see what happens with NEO stock on Thursday, and Moderna has some vaccine-related plans on releases and things like that. That's more or less all I'm watching this week, guys. I'm trying to keep these videos relatively more short and more informative. I apologize if I have been a little bit late in responding back to comments. Sometimes, as you guys know, I'm not a full-time YouTuber. This is kind of just a diary for me. I really appreciate the support I get, and I'm very grateful for that. So sometimes I do apologize if I fall behind on responding to comments. Sometimes even on my YouTube channel, if I actually don't see it on my YouTube studio that there is a comment. Like if I just click on the video as an everyday user, I'll see the comment, but not sometimes through the YouTube studio. I don't know, it's a weird glitch. Anyway, that's it from me. I hope you all have a good week, and as always, don't go broke. I just want the money, 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 money.